Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you the most OP Will build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. So Will is a pretty great character, definitely an underrated one, and I'll be showing you one of the most powerful builds that's still in line with his lore, as he is the Blade of Frontier. So we're going to start off with the Warlock, because they actually have a pretty strong start with Eldritch Blast being a 1d10 force damage, and also we get to pick another one, which I think the best choice here is Minor Illusion. This is a pretty good choice. Going with both of these allows us to do some pretty great damage. You can also go with Mage Hand or one other one of these that you like. Bone Chill, being able to stop the target from healing, is a good one. As for the subclass, the Fiend makes the most sense here because this is exactly what happened to him, so we're going to go with that. It does give us temporary health as we take out an enemy, so that's pretty good too. Some people like the Great Old One with being able to turn a critical hit into Frightened in an area of effect, but the Fiend just makes the most sense for the lore here. So we're going to go with Armor of Agathis. Actually, Armor of Agathis does give us temporary health, which we already get from another source, so we'll override that and remove Armor of Agathis. So Hellish Rebuke and Hex are two of the great choices here. So being able to get a weaponized reaction this early in the game is pretty nice. So Hellish Rebuke, whenever you get attacked, you can use this to deal damage, fire damage. And Hex is great because you can actually apply this as a bonus action and then use your Eldritch Blast and hit it 3 times to deal an additional 3d6 damage, which is really nice. So I'm going to go with those two there. As for our ability scores, Charisma is going to be our main stat. If we have the Infernal Rapier in Act 3, we can go with that there, as the Infernal Rapier is going to probably be the best choice, but also Pact of the Blade will allow us to use Charisma as our attack rolls. So Strength is important, but Dex is more important, so we want to have a nice kind of a balance between Dexterity, Constitution, and Charisma. So something like this looks pretty good for our stats. You can take some points out of Intelligence to put into Strength, or put somewhere around there. You don't want to have a negative to your wisdom rolls, so we'll leave that at 10. So something like this works pretty well. And I'll be going over the full build guide in this video, so we'll take it through all the gear as well in this. So at level 2, we get ourselves the next level spells, or another level spell slot there, and we get a choice of another spell. And I think Command is a really great spell. So Command gives you an option to basically make the target useless for that turn. And what's nice is it doesn't require concentration, so we can have a concentration on something else and use Command to make the target. I like Command Grovel, knock them on the ground, or drop its weapon, so those are two good choices. As for Eldritch Invocations, Agonizing Blast and Repelling Blast are two very solid ones. So this will add our Charisma modifier, which is +3 to our Eldritch Blast, so extra damage on there is always great. In addition, we'll take our Charisma higher. And also Repelling Blast can push the creature back up to 4.5 meters, which is really nice too. But Devil's Sight is another great one. We can get this at level 5, but being able to see in darkness, both magical and non-magical, is really good. This is the only way you can see in magical darkness, so that is another consideration there. But we're just going to take it to level 3 here and pick our next level spell. I think there's a few great choices. So Hold Person, being able to hold an enemy still and give critical hits on within 3 meters is massive. But I like Scorching Ray. I think Scorching Ray is a good damage option, so we'll take this one next turn. Misty Step is another consideration, bonus action, but we only have 2 level spell slots, so I don't love using it on a Misty Step when you can use the Amulet of Misty Step early game. So we'll go with that there. For our Pact Boon, Pact of the Blade is really our best choice here. So we're going to go with this, and yeah, it's just really strong, going with the Pact of the Blade. So bind our Pact weapon and give our spellcasting modifier to the damage. So we'll take our Charisma for attack rolls now, so that's really good because we can use Charisma instead of Dexterity for attacks, which, I mean, it's still the same at this point, but not anymore. At level 4, we're going to take our Charisma up, so that is a great choice because we use Charisma for our attack rolls and for our spellcasting. And for our cantrip that we'll take, I think Bone Chill's good. Friends, if you want to use Will as the face of your party, or Mage Hand. And as for our spells, as I said, bonus, Hold Person, just so useful. Holding an enemy still, get a critical hit off on them. So we'll go with that there. And then at Warlock level 5, this is where we get a big power spike with our Deepened Pact. So Blade of the Pact, if we got the Pact of the Blade, so we get an extra attack. So we can attack twice now, just like everyone else. So we're kind of like a hybrid between a spellcaster and a melee user. But we're going to further take that we'll take it a little bit further here. So we also get Eldritch Invocation too, so this is when we're going to take our Devil's Sight. And for our spell, Hunger of Hadar is the prime choice for a Warlock, so I like this. Creatures within are blinded and take damage at the start of their turn and at the end of their turn. Cold and acid damage. That's pretty good. Also, Fireball is another nice choice, and Counterspell is okay, but I don't like using up all my Warlock spell slots with that, so leave that to your Wizard or Sorcerer, Fireball, or Hunger of Hadar. Now at next level, we're actually going to, we can get the Dark One's Old Luck, getting a 1d10 to an ability check, but I think it's best to actually add in the Paladin. Now, he doesn't always... You might not think of him as a Paladin, but he's the Blade of Frontiers. Paladin just makes sense. And also, the Lock-It-In is one of the most strong builds in this game, so we're going to go with that because with this, we can attack 3 times outside of Honor Mode. And if you're in Honor Mode, there's still some benefits of adding the Paladin, such as the auras. Although you could take Warlock all the way to level 12 if you're in Honor Mode. I just think that going this route gives us some nice benefits. So we do get medium armor. If you want to start, and if you want to use heavy armor, start as a Paladin. You can respec yourself and take the Paladin at level 1. This will give you heavy armor proficiency. You only get medium armor if you add it in. We also get the Inquisitor's Might, adding our Charisma modifier to our damage. And then we can also daze enemies for 1 turn. And we also got our Tenant, so you can break and become an Oathbreaker. Wouldn't fully recommend it. I am wearing light armor here because there's a really great light armor that I'll show you guys. But at level 2, we get our Divine Smites, and this is where we want to use our spell slots for. So we get ourselves Paladin spell slots and Warlock spell slots. It's pretty good. As for our fighting style, defense for a +1 armor class is really nice. You can also go dueling if you want to use a shield. This will add 2 damage to your weapon attacks. So yeah, I would go with one of those two. And you can also go with protection if you really want to, but I think defense for +1 armor class is massive. And for our prepared spells, we already have command, so that is one that we can kind of skip out on. I like to have the smites. Don't use them often because they all require bonus actions, but they're choices that you can go with. And Divine Favor is okay. Bonus action heal, or bonus action extra radiant damage, which you already get from another source with our Inquisitor's Might. So Bless can be a good choice. Cure Wounds is not that amazing because you have to move up and heal the target with your hands, which kind of sucks, but yeah. We already got Command, but that's a good spell to take otherwise. Compelled Duel can be okay, and Divine Favor. We really don't want to use much things outside of, like, with our spell slots, we're Divine Smiting with them. We also get the Vow of Enmity, which is nice. Gain advantage on attack rolls against an enemy. But you can also cast this on yourself to give yourself advantage on attack rolls, so that's really good. And we also get Bane and Hunter's Mark. Now, Hunter's Mark is kind of like an upgraded version of Hex, which Hex does 1d6 of radiant, or 1d6 of necrotic damage. This does 1d6 of whatever damage type. So if we're using piercing damage, this does 1d6 piercing. So if we have the Ballast Armor, which I'm wearing, which will double piercing damage, this will double the piercing damage, which is really good. And we'll just leave that as is for our spells. And then at next level, we get ourselves Lay Hands Charge, so that's good for healing. The spell slot selection isn't super necessary, but as for our next level feat, I think that ability score improvement just makes the most sense, but you can go with Alert for a +5 to initiative and Can't Be Surprised. So that's another way you can go about doing this. Taking our Charisma up to 20, though, it gives us higher attack rolls, gives us better spell save DC, gives us better spell attack rolls. Like, there's so many benefits to that. And then we get our extra attacks, so now we get 3 attacks, and we get Pact of the Blade active. And then we also get access to level 2 spells, and we get ourselves Misty Step, finally, so we can use this as a bonus, or we can use this with our Paladin spell slots. And we also already have Hold Person, but I like to take Branding Smite. This does require concentration, but it stops the target from turning invisible. And Magic Weapon. Aid is good, but we don't have enough spells, and also it's best to leave Aid for someone in your camp to apply to everyone, because you can upcast. You can have someone join your party, apply Aid to everyone, and your summons, and upcast it so it gives +30 health, and then you can just unassign them from your party. That's probably the best choice of doing that. Now, level 6, we get our Aura of Protection, adding a plus Charisma modifier, so we get a +5, potentially +6 to saving throws, which is huge, so we're going to take that. And then we can go, there's 2 options here. So we can stay here. So if you hit an enemy with an opportunity attack, your movement speed increases by 4.5 meters in your next turn. And we get another Paladin spells. So we gain 1 level 2 spell slot. But we can also go with the Warlock, and we can choose Fireball. So this just really comes down to what damage option you want to go with. If you want to have Hunger of Hadar and Fireball, or if you want to have the Relentless Avenger. So 2 choices there. I'm just going to go 6-6 split just because I want to show this off. I haven't went this way before, but it's pretty strong, so we can screw up Mizora there. Basically, Eldritch Blast is your main damage source, so do that often. It's really good, but I'll go over to gear now. So I think the way that makes this the strongest is we got the Birthright Hat, which will put our Charisma up to 22, which is really good. We also have the Cloak of Protection, Boots of Protection, and then I can also put on the Ring of Protection here for a 24 armor class. And then in addition, we also can go with the critical hit ring, because a critical on a smite is really nice. So Killer Sweetheart gives us 24 armor class. I went with the Infernal Rapier because this gives a +1 bonus to spell save DC, and it just basically always uses Charisma as the attack modifier. and we get a free casting of Cambion, which is really good. However, there are other options, like if you want to go with the Crimson Mischief, which will do extra damage when you have advantage. This is a really good choice too, because we can give ourselves advantage with the Vow of Enmity. So this will give us 10 turns advantage on attack rolls. So that just gives us that 7 extra piercing damage, which is also doubled with the Ballast Armor. So this gets really intense. I like the Helldust Gloves because +1 to spell attack rolls and spell save DC, and additional 1 to 6 fire damage, so we can attack and deal damage. This is also a really good build for using the Band of the Mystic Scoundrel, because we can then cast things like our Hold Person and Command as bonus actions, which is really nice. I always like to have the Aura Protection up. This gives us a nice +6 to our saving throws. So any adjacent allies will get a +6 to saving throws, which is huge, especially on Honor mode. We also got our Misty Step. We got a decent selection of spell slots, and we always want to be binding our packed weapon. So get that active. I like this weapon here, or I like the Cambion sword, but this one works pretty good too because it'll deal a lot of extra damage. But basically what we want to be doing is using our Vow of Enmity here, applying it to ourselves, and then we can go in and we can attack. And we can also do our smites too, because that's going to be a big damage source for us, is going with a Divine Smite. So as you can see there, upwards of 40 damage at level 1, so it does our piercing damage, necrotic, fire, and etc. And we can up past that to 56 damage. Pretty intense power. So smiting is our best friend. We deal a ton of damage with smites. And critical hit, big damage there, 38, crazy. So that was really nice. I'll show this off against a hostile enemy because we're not actually applying the... I have the Ballast Armor on, which gives advantage on... or gives us vulnerability to piercing damage. Oh, we took him out. That's pretty good. It is using up our spell slots to be able to use... So I have it set. If you go here, you can set your reaction. So the Paladin can use Divine Smite as a reaction whenever you get a critical hit. So that's why we're able to take them both out with our attacks there. But yeah, this gets pretty strong. And the way that we can make this even stronger is, yeah, we got our Vow of Enmity on ourselves. I already lost it. Or, yeah, we lost it, so we don't have our extra advantage. But what we'd want to be doing is we'd want to have that advantage on our attack to get an additional 14 damage on the Crimson Mischief, because this will add extra damage. Although if you're earlier in the game, you can go with really whatever you want. You can go with a two-handed weapon if you want to, but what makes this build so strong is we would be able to attack and deal a ton of damage with that. I hate to attack his own father just to show off the combat effectiveness of this build, but just for the purpose of it showing off the build. You are done for, you hear that? Oh, and he ran away. That's unfortunate. It's... I love that thing. Did he take Will with him? Where did Will go? Wow, okay. Well, we lost Will, so I guess that's over. He took him for punishment, I guess. I don't know where Will and Duke went. We lost our combat, but yeah, I guess if you attack the Duke, you probably lose Will. So there it is. There is the most OP Will build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. If you found this video useful, please hit the subscribe button below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.